Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we are going to be rebuilding West Ham United, a team in the Premier League that is definitely on the up. They've got great players, a decent manager, a great set of fans, and you know, it's just a club rich with history. And we're going to today be spending 5 years, 5 seasons, whatever you want to call it, by bringing in new players, offloading some players as well if we have to, and trying to push this team further than what they are at the moment, potentially make them Premier League champions if we can over 5 years. Might be a bit of a big ask, but we'll do our best. But if you guys do enjoy these rebuilds, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. But let's get into season 1 of the transfers. So we've already done season 1 of the transfers. We didn't have a massive budget. There wasn't a lot of players I wanted to get rid of. The only player that I did get rid of, purely because he didn't have a long time left on his contract really, and he wasn't interested in a new deal, is going to be Ogbonna from West Ham to Lazio for 6.7 million. A player who I wouldn't have purposely got rid of. I wanted him to stay longer, but he didn't want to, so I cashed in on him when we had the opportunity. But we have brought in some great players. We have brought in Belotti, who obviously is a free agent, and a player who is one hell of a player, worth 40 to 50 million. Is a regular starter at the club already. 16 finishing, not the quickest, I'm going to be honest, but what you're getting with this guy is more of a target forward, is what I'm going to say. And to be honest, in this West Ham team, he does a really good job, and everything about him, he's a great player. And do you know what? On the free, you can't really go wrong, can you? Yeah, he is 27. Contract info, he's on 65k a week, which isn't too bad for a player of his caliber. We then go to Inter Milan, and we decided to get, because the back line didn't have a lot of depth when it comes to wide areas, so we went and got Valentino Lazaro for 2 million from Inter Milan. And this guy is just a bit, he's not going to be a world-class fullback, no, he isn't, but he is a great backup to have, who can play anywhere pretty much on the right-hand side, going forward and back, so a lot of depth with him as well. But he's just a very versatile player, and at the age of 25, not too old either. And for 2 million, I was like, we're not going to get much for the money that we did have, so why not get him? He seemed like a good option, and therefore we signed him. And the last player was going to be a signing to replace Ogbonna. Again, an absolute steal from PSG, is going to be none other than Abdou Diallo. Obviously, a great player in real life, powerful centre-back, very good tackling, quite quick as well, reasonably tall. A player who has got a bit of ability in him as well. He's only 25, and he does get into the team without any doubts as well. And this is, in my opinion, an upgrade on Ogbonna, because it's very similar to him in terms of stats, but he is younger and definitely can outgrow him. In terms of wage, he's on 125k, which is a lot of money, but that is the one issue with signing players from PSG. Their demands are ridiculously high. We needed a centre-back, and we didn't have a lot of money. This was the best centre-back I could get with the money that we did have, without putting the club in severe debt. And to be honest, it's a very good player. He really is. If we go into the tactics now, we've only played 1 game, so I wouldn't worry too much about where it says we are. We are going to be using the Jurgen Norbert Klopp 4-3-3 Liverpool style tactic. Again, do not take credit for this. I like to use a mixture of my tactics and other people's tactics in the community when I do these rebuilds, because it's the only time I get to use other people's tactics, so it's very fun to see how they do, and it suits the team very well. The first team is going to be Fabianski, Soufal, Zuma, Diallo, Creswell, Rice, Souček, Fornals, Benrahma, Bowen, and Belotti. On the bench, you've got Areola, Diop, Lanzini, Antonio, Dawson, Lazaro, Velasic, Johnson, Masuaku, Randolph, and Agred. I think that's how you say that. So again, definitely areas where we can strengthen. A lot of areas where we need to strengthen. But we're going to work with what we've got for this first season, especially because we didn't get a lot of money. So let's simulate 1 season and see how we do. Well, that is going to be season 1 simulated then. And we have been given 56 million, which is a reasonable amount to work with, to be fair. Quite a lot for this club as well, and obviously that does mean that we can also use, you know, transfers like installments as well. We are rich in terms of finances as well, which is really good to see. I'm curious to see where we're finished. My prediction would be top 4, so I feel like the team is good enough, and I know that this tactic is a powerhouse of a tactic. I'm going to go with 3rd, and I think we were in Europa League, I'm going to say we won Europa League. I mean, Roma, I'm going to say we won it. Okay, well, I was not expecting that. I don't know what's happened. We're going to look at Man City's team and we're going to look at their fixture and Liverpool as well. We have managed to win the Premier League, win Europa League, win the FA Cup, best at scoring, best at conceding. Belotti instantly coming in. I knew he was a great signing with 36 goals. Creswell with most assists. Again, with my Klopp tactic, I believe it was, he got 41 assists. This guy is so underlooked on this game. One hell of a player and can get a load of assists, that is for certain. Let's have a quick look. And Man City got... Have they got Haaland? They do. Man City. I'm just making sure I weren't playing on a Haaland, Grealish, Silva. They've got everyone. Alvarez, they have literally got everyone. Liverpool, senior squad, Nunez, Diaz, Salah, they've got everyone. So I honestly think they have just had a couple of rough games, or they've had a poor season, because I was not expecting us to win the league in the first season. And now it could be like I think, was it Arsenal, where we won it in our first season, then actually the next couple seasons was a bit of a downward spiral. So hopefully we can prevent that. But if we go into the squad then, go goals, we've got 36 from Belotti, 33 from Bowen, 22 from Vlasic, 14 from Benrahma. We've got Lazaro coming up as well with 12, who obviously is going to be our wing-back come winger. Assists, we've got 30 from Creswell, 20 for Bowen, 16 for Rice, 12 for Ben Johnson as well. Vlasic coming in with 12, 11 and 10 and 10. Everyone's sort of, put in a shift here when it comes to, what we've done in the division. And Creswell getting the highest match rating, as deserved. One hell of a player there, and he's 32, so he is an older player, but I'm definitely not going to look to offload him because he is, he's had one great season. But in terms of strengthening, obviously, you can look at a lot of these players and, yeah, you can say to yourself, I'll bring in a world-class player. For me personally, right from the bat, what I might look to do just specifically this window is obviously I'm not looking to sell players, because players that we bring in, I want to make sure are first team quality. And that means that the players that were first team can then drop to the bench. But everyone played quite good. So, I mean, I'm not going to replace Belotti and make him play on the bench, because we've got Antonio, who's already a great backup striker. I might look into bringing in a world-class sort of left-hand side player. Bowen had a hell of a season, so I don't want to drop him. Midfield, again, obviously we could get a better Metzala than Lanzini. I mean, goalkeeper, possibly bring in someone younger. How old is Areola? He's 29. Fabianski's 30. Yeah, so possibly bring in a world-class goalkeeper, or use Areola and bring in a bit of backup goalkeeper, and possibly bring in, I mean, that centre-back partnership is very good as well. So we'll go into the transfer window, but we don't really need to strengthen too much, because I've definitely made the mistake in the past of signing players purely for the sake of it, which I don't want to do again. But let's get in to season 2 of the transfer window. Before we do get into season 2 of the transfers though, guys, if you are enjoying this video so far, please do leave it a like and be sure to subscribe to the channel. And also, I rarely plug this, but if you guys do want to follow me on social media to get notified when I upload, or other stuff like giveaways, etc., both of my Twitter and Instagram can be found in the description of this video. But let's get into season 2 of the transfers. Season 2 of the transfers has been done, and we have spent big, because we've been given the opportunity to sign a player who I've never actually managed to sign in Football Manager before, and who is a player who's got a lot of potential and will be with us through the entire save. But we did manage to bring in a left-hand sided winger and also a goalkeeper, which were the two players which obviously we did want to bring in. We did offload Fabianski to Mainz for 3.3 million, 3.6 million after add-ons, and also we did lose Brian Kinnear on the free to Queen's Park. But the players we brought in, now it is going to be a big name for you West Ham fans. 145 million. We managed to bring in Gabriel Martinelli from Arsenal for 130 million. So quite a lot of money spent, but he is a very, very good player and one hell of a prospect, as we all know in real life. He's already a very good player with the ability to grow, and he instantly gets into the first team and becomes probably our best winger, to be honest with you. So we've now got him and Bowen on the left and right side, And, you know, we've also now got the likes of Fornals, we've got the likes, you know, of Vlasic who can be on the bench. And that just gives us a bit more depth and a world-class player at 21 going into the team. He was hard to get. He pretty much rejected the contract the first time. So I waited, I went back, and we eventually got him. But this guy has got it all. And I think because he's going to be here for 5 years easily, I'm hoping he will develop to be our best player, to be honest with you. Hands down. And it helps having players like this in the team because it persuades people like Declan Rice to stay at the club because he can see us bringing in high-profile players. And although we did win a lot of stuff last season, obviously we're not going to do that every year. So you want to have a strong squad to make sure that, you know, you don't have one star player that thinks, what am I doing at this club, you know? So a player like Martinelli was a great signing for us, and he was expensive, but we had one hell of a season, and the board allowed him to sign. You know, we didn't really break the budget with it. So, I mean, overall, a very, very good signing, and a player who I'm hoping can hit the ground running. We then managed to sign a goalkeeper from Fenerbahce called Atlay. I'm going to make sure I said this right. Banadir, who, again, a very, very good goalkeeper, 4-star ability, 24 years old, 6'6", so an absolute giant. His attributes are very good, great reflexes as well, great one-on-ones, good jumping, good agility, good aerial reach, a real big presence in that box, and again, instantly gets into the first team. So 2 signings that instantly go into the first team, which I will show you now, is going to be this tactic again because it's done us so well. And what a team this now looks. I mean, we've got Alte, we've got Sufal, we've got Zuma, Diallo, Creswell, Rice, Souček, Fornals and Metzala. We've got Bowen, Martinelli, Belotti, who will remain our star man up top. But now we have obviously got, well, with Ben Rama, who we're now got on the bench, sorry. Again, obviously, if I had more money, I potentially would get a better Metzala. But this team on paper is absolutely nuts. So let's get into Season 2 and see exactly what we can win. Because now we can also have the opportunity to progress in the Champions League. So, Season 2 then has been simulated. And we've been given 76 million. Now, that's a bit more than what we got the first season. And we've also got 100% of the transfer revenue available to us. Now, let's have a quick look then and see exactly how we done this season. Oh, that is gutting. We are literally a point off winning the Premier League. And I've got to check. Did that really come down to the last game? That come down to the last game, didn't it? If we would have won, we would have won the title 100%. We do manage to win the FA Cup, though. Best at scoring goals, third best at conceding. Belotti actually top goal scorer again. Creswell with the highest match rating and most assists joint, that is. But overall, a very, very good season still. Not managing to win back-to-back titles. I mean, to be honest, that's quite remarkable even saying that. We got grouped in the Champions League, which is an embarrassment. We also didn't have a great display in cups, to be honest with you, which is a very, very bad thing as well. If we go into the squad, though, goals, we've got Belotti, Martinelli. I'm glad he's up there for the money we spent. 19 goals from him, 17 from Souček, 13 from Bowen, 12 for Rice. We go to assists, we've got 14 for Fornals, 14 for Creswell, 11 for Bowen, 11 for Rice, and 10 for Vlasic. I want to say right off the bat, guys, this next transfer window could get very interesting. Because Declan Rice, I tried to offer a new contract and he's not interested because he wants to see about the offers that are coming in for him. And his contract does expire the upcoming season and there is no chance I will let him go for free. So if I cannot get him to sign a new contract before the new season, I will be selling him and bringing in some new midfield players because a player like Declan Rice, it would be absolutely criminal to see him go on the free. So if I do have to sell him, I will have to sell him because at the end of the day, the guy is worth 74 to 81 million. For the right team, you could probably get 100 million, to be honest. So we will see what happens with him. We'll give him a little bit of time, but at the end of the day, if his mind's set on going, he can go, and we can bring in someone because we have got 100% of the transfer revenue available to us, meaning that we would get the 70, 100, 80, whatever we get for him, we will be able to spend. So hopefully we can bring someone in that possibly not even be as good as him, but someone that can grow to even be better than him. So let's see if we can get him to sign. But more importantly, let's get into the next transfer window, which is Season 3. So guys, welcome to Season 3 of the transfers. And unfortunately, I am going to say this right off the bat, we haven't managed to keep Declan Rice. He's gone to PSG. The only positive about that is that, one, we got majority of the money, and two, he's obviously not going to be a direct threat to us because he's going to be in the French league. But we have made some good signings to sort of replace him. We've managed to bring in Ruben Neves from Wolves for 65 million. He is a very good player. As we all know, we're very familiar with this guy in real life. He's only 26, so he's not too old. He's valued at a lot more than what we actually paid for him as well. But his attributes are just so well-rounded. He can play in a variety of midfield roles, and he's still got a few years in him. So I wasn't against spending that type of money on him. And I was like, do you know what? This isn't quite enough to replace Rice. If we're going to go out and sign one world-class midfielder in Neves, let's bring in another as well, which I will show you in a minute. But if you look at this guy, he's not the tallest, but everything about him, you've got his passing, his penalties, his vision, everything, determination, decisions, anticipation, everything about him is really good. Elite midfielder, fantastic player. And obviously, one of the midfielders that come into my head when I thought, you know what? Who could I get realistically? And this is one of the guys that come into my head. Here we can see then Declan Rice did go to PSG for 83 million. We got 63 of that. So we went and spent another 66 million on Wilfred Ndidi from Leicester. Again, this will be the guy that probably replaces Declan Rice specifically in that role, purely because it is a very similar role. I might have to change a Roman playmaker to more defensive, but this guy's just incredible. 6 foot, nearly perfect tackling, 19 tackling, good work rate on him, good anticipation again, good stamina, good natural fitness. And this guy is it's just a work engine. That's what you're getting with Ndidi. 26 again, both midfielders 26 years old. They're going to be with us through the entire duration of this save. So, I mean, overall, I've managed to get rid of Declan Rice and spent about 40 million more, but brought in Ndidi and also Neves. And in my opinion, it strengthens the team better because we've got 2 new midfielders now, which obviously will probably be first team. And, you know, at the end of the day, we didn't stop there. We went to Southampton, spent 45 million on Mohamed Salisu, obviously a fantastic centre-back, 6'3", again, great tackling, reasonably quick as well, good jumping, good stamina, good strength, good anticipation again, good positioning, and everything about him is a very good centre-half, and will probably instantly get into the first team, ahead of Diallo, to be honest with you, but still a very good team. One thing which I will say is we have got Antonio and Masuaku that have fully decided they want to leave on the free when their contract expires. So next season is all going to be about bringing in possibly a world-class Mezzala, possibly bringing in a world-class striker or someone that's back up to Belotti, because obviously we're going to lose Antonio, and really strengthening them fullbacks. Not necessarily the left side, because Creswell's been incredible, so probably bringing in a left, like a backup, but then Creswell is getting older. But let's have a quick look at the tactics page then. We'll go to the best 11, and yeah, it's looking absolutely crazy. I mean, I'm not really comfortable playing Souček in that Mezzala. I would rather do that, to be honest with you, and have Souček and Roman playmaker, or possibly even do this and put him as a ball-winning midfielder. So I will have a play about with that. I probably will do it now, actually. I'll just put him on defend, and I'm quite comfortable with that as a formation. Salisu goes right in there as well with... I'm not a big fan of that either, to be honest. I'd rather have Creswell in there because he's been really good. And I'm not happy with this either because Belotti's been our top goal scorer, so a couple of dodgy decisions coming out there. But this is our best team, and this is the team that will be playing in the 3rd season. So let's get into the 3rd season, and hopefully, although we've although we have lost Declan Rice, hopefully the new signings can still get us up there, and hopefully we can win the Premier League again. So guys, that is going to be Season 3 simulated, and we've been given 90 million, so it's a lot of money to spend, which does make me think that possibly we might have managed to finish at least in the top 4 minimum, but probably gone beyond that, to be honest. So let's have a little look. Yeah, I mean, okay, this has been one hell of a season. We've won the Premier League by 10 points. We've also managed to win the Champions League against Manchester City, which is a very tough tie, the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, and the Community Shield against Man City, making us treble winners this season in our 3rd season. We're the best at scoring goals, the 5th best at conceding, so we've somehow got worse with the defensive side. One thing which I've seen, which I'm really impressed with, Martinelli, obviously our top goal scorer with 28. Creswell coming in with the highest match rating, but that defensive record does make me believe that possibly that is where we need to spend the money to strengthen. But if we go into the squad then, here we go. So goals. We've got 28 from Martinelli. We've got 24 from Belotti. We've got 23 from Bowen. 22 from Neves, which is a lot for a midfielder. 17 for Souček. 13 for Zuma. Assists, let's have a little look then. We've got 24 for Bowen, 17 for Creswell, 16 for Martinelli. He's had one hell of a season. He really has. We've then got Fornals coming in with 12, 11 for Nunes, 9 for Zuma, 9 for Belotti. Belotti's one of them players who is putting in one hell of a shift. And this guy was a free agent. We didn't spend a penny on him. How old is he now, Belotti? He's 30 years old, valued at a lot of money. So dependent on what we've got this season, we might keep Belotti as the main man up top for another year. Before this, this save does end, we will bring in another striker, because obviously Belotti will be getting older. But highest match rating again is going to come out of Aaron Creswell. But the guy is getting on. He's now 34, so I probably will be looking in. I will probably look to bring in probably a couple of really, really, really good right back, or good right back, and a really good left back, because we are getting quite weak at the back. It seems going forward we're great. The midfield's great now as well. But I probably will look to, I'm going to be honest, I'll spend a lot. I'll spend sort of 30, 40 million on a left back and a right back, and then pick which players we keep as the backup. Obviously, Creswell has been really good for us, so I at least want him to stay at the club, even if it does mean him being a squad player. But obviously, he is 34. He's only got probably max of a season left in him before we have to offload him anyway. But let's get into season 4 of the transfers and hopefully pick up a couple of really good fullbacks. So we've just done season 4 of the transfers, and we have spent big on someone who I didn't plan on bringing in right away, but he was available on the market and he was interested in joining. And it is a player I've signed before, but I mean, you can't really go wrong when signing this guy. The first player we are going to talk about, though, is going to be still a big player who we brought in for 86 million from Leicester. Luke Thomas, a left back, which I don't think I've signed yet in this game, but he is such a good left back. Great potential. He's 23 years old. Very good tackling, good stamina, good work rate, reasonably quick as well. And like I said, I got him purely because 1, he's very young. He's still got loads and loads of potential to grow. And 2, it's sort of like, for the price I paid for him, it was a lot, but he's valued more than what I paid for him to start with. And secondly, or thirdly, that would be, I just think like it's quite fun to sign players that aren't your typical players, like your Alphonso Davies, your Mendes, people like that. So I thought, do you know what? I haven't signed him. Let's go out and get him. And luckily, he did want to join. He was really keen on joining, actually, probably because we are actually winning quite a few trophies now. So that is going to be our first team left back. We then decided to go over and sign Vlahovic from Juventus. And I mean, you can't go wrong with this guy. He costs an absolute fortune. And yeah, he is on quite a lot per week as well. But his finishing is 18 at the age of 24. He's reasonably tall as well. Great strength, great stamina, good pace. He's literally like, I mean, I feel like he's a bit not underhyped. That's a bit harsh, but like people talk about your Nunes, your Haalands, and no one really talks about him as much anymore. And it's like, I don't know, because he stayed in the Serie A and obviously went to Juventus, but for me, he still is in that category, and he's one hell of a player, and definitely will get into our first team, which does mean that possibly in the future we can offload Antonio. We want to keep Belotti because obviously he is still scoring lots of goals, but the reason why I didn't sign a right back is because obviously we've got this guy at the club who obviously, 24 years old. He's valued a ridiculous amount and he looks really good. He's only 24, so there was no point in bringing in a right back when we didn't need to. And also in that position, we have got the likes of Soufal, who still is a great player, valued, not the highest, and he's 31, but still a very good defender to have. And we also have the player that we signed for sort of like backup, which was Lazaro, who does sort of play a bit higher up as well. But again, not world-class, but can do a good job. But that means that this is going to be our first team now. We've got Aute, Johnson, Zuma, Salisu, Thomas, and Didi. Fornals? I don't think so. We will replace him with Souček. Be Souček, Neves, Bowen, Martinelli, and Vlahovic up top. And obviously that means we have got a ridiculously strong bench. And this team now, I mean, we should be winning the league. I know we've already done that, but we should be maintaining it. The only way going forward, so like, I mean, we're now going into season 4. So for the last window, the only thing I might try and do is bring in another centre-back that's a little bit better than the depth we have, and possibly bring in, if I can afford it, a proper world-class winger, and then have Bowen on the bench and they can sort of rotate. Or box-to-box, because box-to-box, we have got Souček, who is good, but we've still got room to bring in a really, like, another couple of world-class players into this team. But let's get in to season 4 and see how we do. Well, that is going to be season 4 done, and we've gone instantly into this screen because I did click it and I didn't want to, you know, pretend that I haven't seen it when I have. And it's been a dominant season for Man City this year. One thing we are going to do is we are going to go and have a quick look and see what team they've got. They've got Marcelo Gallardo in control of the team, and their team is absolutely ridiculous. It is very similar to what they've got in real life. Obviously, they've got Kimmich at right back, Tammy Abraham on the bench, obviously Delap there, Palmer, Stones, Pavard, a very, very, very good side. So I can see why they are managing to win the title so convincingly. We did manage to win the Super Cup against Leipzig. Obviously, that's sort of pre-season. We won the FA Cup, won the Carabao Cup, and the Community Shield. So we've still done the quadruple, but in a lot smaller trophies, missing out on the Champions League in the final against PSG. But I can't be too gutted there because PSG are a ridiculous side to play. We unfortunately, again, haven't really, you know, we have strengthened a bit, but we're still the 4th best at conceding, so that's still an area we can improve to become flawless. The best at scoring goals, and I've just seen down here, Vlahovic here scoring 61 in his first season. One thing I am going to say is, mid-season, I noticed a lot of players, I saw a lot of transfers. Unfortunately, I've had several players go on the free, so we've got a lot of business to do. Some of the players that have gone on the free are the likes of Soufal, Lanzini, and the one that I didn't want to lose, I tried so hard to keep him, is Bowen. But unfortunately, he is gone as well. If we go then and look at the squad, we're obviously going to have 61 from the likes of, where is he, from Vlahovic there, 23 for Zuma, which is our centre-back. He should not be second top goal scorer. 16 for Neves, 15 for Martinelli, 12 for Bowen, 12 for Souček. Assists, we've got 26 coming out of Bowen, 22 from Neves, 15 from Pablo, 4 nows, 11 from Martinelli. Highest match rating going to Kurt Zuma. We've got a ridiculous amount of work to do in this last window, because if you imagine this tactics page here, we've obviously got Bowen, who was actually a first team player. He's leaving. We also have the likes of Lanzini, who again played quite a fair few games, and also Soufal, who again did play quite a fair few games. We're all right at the right back spot though, so obviously we've got Johnson and also Lazaro, but we do need to probably bring in a midfielder now, and probably a right-hand sided player as well. In terms of budget, I'm not liking how much we've got. That's all right, 85 million. We can probably work quite a bit in installments. We will also see if we do need to sell anyone. But no, this season wasn't great for players that were lost. In terms of results, it wasn't horrific. I mean, we didn't win the Premier League, but we did manage to win 4 trophies. And at the end of the day, we've still got to be realistic. The team that we've got is fantastic, but it's by no means it is world dominating, if that makes sense. Like if you look at the Manchester City team, obviously we have got very good players. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not as if all of our ability players are 5-star, you know. So we're not invincible. We know that. It's all about trying to work alongside that, really. But going into this last transfer window, we will definitely try and bring in, if we can, another centre-back, another midfielder. So Souček possibly can go to the bench. And obviously we've got to bring in a right-hand sided player now, because Bowen is obviously leaving. As terms of strikers, I believe we already sold Antonio. So luckily we've got Belotti, who's still here. His contract does expire though, so the one thing I will do now, I will try and get as many contracts done before we sign a player. So that might bring the transfer budget down a little bit, but it's got to be done. So let's go in to the 5th season of the transfers. So that is going to be the last season of transfers done. And we have gone and spent big. We have gone and brought in Wesley Fofana from Leicester City for 90 million. Obviously, this guy will probably slot into the first team ahead of Salisu, but I got him more for depth as well, just because it gives us a wide variety of world-class centre-backs then. We've got the likes of Zuma, Salisu, Fofana, Diallo, all these type of players. And we actually done really well this transfer window, because one of the key things I wanted to do was bring in a lot of players, more than bring in, don't want to disrespect the players I've signed, but more than bring in loads of world-class players, because we were a little bit sparse for players. So I did hit up the free agent market as well, and I managed to get quite a few players on the free, which was good to see as well, considering we lost a few on the free as well. But no, this guy obviously did cost us a fair bit of money, but he's only 24, he's quite tall, very quick, good vision, good tackling, pretty much everything you want in a centre-half. And like I said, he gets into the first team with no questions. This next page is going to be impressive, a great bit of business. We actually managed to pluck out 4 free transfers. A couple of these are better than others, I will be honest. So we'll go over the one we spent more money on. It's going to be Windle at left back for competition for Thomas. Simple as that. We've got 2 brilliant run right backs, so I thought I'd match it and go for Windle, who actually can also play, but a bit higher up as well. But this guy's fantastic. He's also only 25, good tackling, reasonably quick. I'd say necessarily not world class, but a very balanced left back. So I mean, he's good competition for Luke Thomas, and obviously that will only make Luke Thomas get better. So I thought, you know what, we need a backup left back. This guy's probably, a lot of you probably say he's too good for backup, but it's not strictly backup. He is to compete with Luke Thomas for that position, which is obviously something which we do want. We want competition. Obviously, Luke Thomas probably is going to be the favourite going in. I know it'd be my favourite, but they are very similar. We'll then go into some of the free agents. So we'll go over the 2 that probably aren't as significant. So, I mean, the first one is going to be Verratti, a world-class player, very dominant, but he is 32. So he is on the older side, but you're still looking at a player that has got 3 or 4 years left in him. And all of his attributes are very well balanced. Obviously, he's known for not being the tallest player, but he is a very good midfielder. And to be honest, probably will get a lot of game time in this team. And when he's free, why not get him? In terms of contract, he's on 100k a week, so he's not the cheapest player, but to be honest, he's done a lot in his career. His experience as a veteran, and it's the perfect player to have. We then go and get another player who is another midfield player, because I wanted to sort of stack that position out, in Nicolo Fagoli. I believe that's how you say that. 80 grand per week. Again, a very good player, 24 years old, definitely not world-class by any means of the imagination, but the reason why I wanted to get these sort of players in is because I wanted more depth. I wanted more, because we lost a lot of players, and that midfield's been doing great. It's been doing great. We've got Neves, we've got Ndidi, obviously we've got Souček, and now we're adding the likes of Fagoli, we're adding the likes of Verratti, and obviously you guys would have seen we've also managed to land Højbjerg, again one of my favourite players in midfield to watch in real life, because he works so hard. And he's just an absolute joy to watch. And that is the type of players that we need in this team. And again, he is 29, so he's slightly older. But at the end of the day, when these players are free, this guy, again, on 105k, so not too demanding, it is doable. And again, he can play a few roles in midfield, so he's going to be a great squad player to have. And then the last guy, who instantly is going to replace Bowen, is going to be Amad Diallo. Again, a player who has got a lot of growing to do. His finishing's not the best, I know, but we didn't have a lot of money to spend on a right winger, so we decided to take up a free agent. He was unhappy at the club, so we took him, and we're going to try and work with him and try and, you know, adapt him and try and build him into the player that he should become. And hopefully he can set the league alight, because he is going to be getting a lot of game time, probably playing every game, to be honest. But this is going to make this team look a bit like this. This is how I would personally select the team out. And then obviously on the bench, we've now got a very strong bench in the likes of, we have got Areola, Zuma, Souček, Belotti, Diallo, Fornals, Benrahma, Lazaro, Fagoli, Vlasic. Nearly got confused then. Agard, Højbjerg, and Windle. But this is what I want to show you guys. So we've got a backup goalkeeper. We've got a backup right back in Lazaro. Centre backs, we've got 2 backups now, which is very good. Left back, we've got a backup in Windle. Midfielders, we've got quite a few options now. We've obviously got Højbjerg, Fagoli, we've got Souček and Diallo who can play there. All cover for these positions. On the right, we've obviously got Benrahma as backup, Martinelli. We've got Fornals, we've got Vlasic. And up top, obviously, we've got Belotti. So Everything is covered in terms of depth, and that is exactly what I wanted to do with this team. But let's get in to the final season and hopefully at least win a trophy. So that is going to be pretty much the whole thing, guys. That is going to be Season 5 simulated, and we have gone out with a bang here. We've managed to win the Champions League against Liverpool. We've won the Premier League quite convincingly as well, with Arsenal finishing in 2nd place, and also winners of the Carabao and the Community Shield. So we've done the quadruple. I've just seen a stat which is absolutely outrageous, which we are going to have a look at, because I've never seen anything like that in my life. Never seen it. You know what I'm looking at. But 141 goals scored, 19 for goals conceded, ranking us best. Now I'm going to click on this and show you right away. I've not even got the editor on, but that looks so sus. I mean, I know he's a world-class player, but he has scored 80 goals. Now, I've seen Ronaldo score 67 in a tactics video, but once again, shout out to this guy that made this tactic. I don't take credit for it. It's not mine. But this tactic is honestly incredible. Vlahovic actually went and scored 80 goals in one season. 80. Outrageous. Neves coming in there with 38 assists as well. We go into the squad then. We're talking 80. It's ridiculous. 80 from Vlahovic. We've got 24 for Martinelli, 23 for Fofana. We've got Diallo coming in with 18. We've got Neves coming in with 17 assists. We've got 38 for Neves, 18 for Thomas in his first season. We've got, was it second? I forgot now. Fornals coming in with 16. Verratti with 16. But I've got to look at it again, guys. Let's have a quick look, Ben. So he didn't actually get injured either. He was injured at the start of the season, but he did recover before we first started playing. We're talking sort of like he played pretty much everything. I mean, wow. Did Belotti play at all? Where's Belotti? He come on 15 times as a sub. So he did come on quite a bit, to be fair to him. But overall, what a season that is. And if we go and have a look at exactly again, we'll see what we've won. So won the Premier League very convincingly, and the Champions League against Liverpool, Community Shield there, and the Carabao Cup as well. But the team we've left him with is honestly ridiculous. We've left him with Alte, Johnson, Fofana, Salisu, Thomas, and Didi, Verratti, Neves, Martinelli, Diallo. How did he do, Diallo? Reasonably, kind of good. Not world-class, but he definitely didn't have a horrific season. Did get involved, and Vlahovic obviously was probably by far the best player in the world. Then on the bench, you've got Areola, Zuma, Souček, Belotti, Diallo, Fornals, Benrahma, Lazaro, Fagoli, Vlasic, Aguerd, Højbjerg, and Windle. And if we go and have a little look here at the career milestones, and we can see exactly what we've accomplished at this club. We were hired in 2021. We won the FA Cup, the Premier League, and Europa all in the first season. The following season, one less trophy, still a good trophy. Won the FA Cup and the Community Shield, the Carabao, the Premier League, the Champions League, the Community Shield, and the Super Cup, all in 2024, and entered the English Hall of Fame. The following season, still the Carabao, FA Cup, FIFA World Cup winners, and the Community Shield. Not the Premier League in that season. We did enter the English Hall of Fame again. And this one, our last season, Carabao, Premier League, and the Champions League, and entered the Worldwide and the European Hall of Fame. Now, I think if you compare what we've done from Season 1, the team we had in Season 1, to where the team is now, we have had one hell of a rebuild, to be honest. Like, I mean, we've brought in so many good players. The depth is incredible. We've won a lot of trophies. The club's now at a very high level. Definitely, you'd say consistent top fours, if not challenging for the title every single season, all in 5 years. And it's definitely not easy, but this has probably been one of the best rebuilds we've done in terms of getting the signings correct. Yeah, there were a couple of windows where we did spend quite a bit of money, but sometimes you have to, especially that window when we had 3 players go on the free, which is out of our control. But that is going to be it for today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this rebuild. I know it's been really fun to play. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave the video a like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as well, and follow all the social medias in the description. And that is going to be it for today, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.